Before we came to Vietnam, we found it really hard to find good, solid information.
Yeah, we struggle to find that practical, everyday sort of stuff that you need, things like ATMs and those sorts of general things. So, with that in mind, we put together a list of 10 potential mistakes that you could make in that planning process and when you get here. And as an added bonus, we have an extra 11th tip for you, and this one was a big one.
It did change our plans quite a bit.
It changed our plans and about how we were going to do things here in Vietnam. And if you know this one, it might help you with your plans so that you don't make the same mistake that we did. So let's get into it. Let's give you these tips so that you can have the best holiday ever when you come to Vietnam. It's such a wonderful place.
We're Mark and Kelly. We travel the world full time, sharing adventures and tips along the way. Join us on the journey and welcome to Grown Up Gap Years.
First mistake, not researching the weather or the seasons. It could be cold in the north, it could be rainy in the south, or it could be typhoon season.
Which we've discovered, the biggest typhoon in 10
Yagi?
years.
Yeah.
Typhoon Yagi has hit the north of Vietnam, causing untold devastation. Look, this isn't something you can research for. You can't research for a typhoon, but Google the weather before you come. That way you're not going to be disappointed. You'll be able to bring the right clothes, you'll be able to bring the right footwear. Vietnam is a huge country and it has a large amount of seasonal change. So for your own benefit, it's worthwhile Googling when you're coming, where you're going, and checking out the weather for that particular time of the year when you'll be there. That way you won't end up disappointed with what the weather presents. And just also be aware, it can be unbearably hot. We're from a hot area and we have found it unbearably hot.
Sometimes we
at
really
times.
suffer.
Yeah, we really suffer. We've become like the Vietnamese people. We disappear into cafes all day. I can see why they do it.
Aircon is your friend.
Yeah, aircon. So mistake number 2 is the infamous Vietnamese traffic, and it's underestimating the impact that the Vietnamese traffic will have upon you. Now, I have heard a little analogy to describe the Vietnamese traffic and our role within that traffic. So think of Vietnamese traffic as like a river, and we as pedestrians are obstacles in the way of that river, and the water will flow around the obstacle. That all said, I'm quite useless at crossing the traffic. I have a healthy
Always have
fear
to take a hand.
I have a healthy fear of dying. So I shall hand it over to the expert who will tell you how to cross the traffic.
All right. Most importantly, look both ways. It doesn't matter which side you're crossing from. Continue at a slow and steady pace. Don't rush. Don't change your mind. Go halfway. If there's 4 lanes, go halfway. Stop. Check the other direction, and then move slowly again. Now, if there's more than 2 of you or 3, simply don't go single file. Go on a straight, like a hold hands along one line. That way they'll know what you're doing and the traffic will flow around you. They do not want to run over you.
Without him, I sit here and say that I know what I'm doing. I don't. Without him, I probably wouldn't be crossing roads as confidently as I do. But Mark has proven that it is achievable and you can do it. Or his words, you'll be fine.
This is our friend Jasmine doing the famous bird flap, a way to get across the crazy streets of Hanoi where all traffic bets are off.
Number 3, my favourite. Take it away, Kel.
It's skipping street food and local food and having Western food. You're in Vietnam. Experience everything that Vietnam has to offer, and that includes street food, which is a big part of its identity. Also, make sure you go to the local restaurants. They're excellent, they're clean, they're hygienic. Okay, if you were to miss these, you would be missing some of the greatest culinary treats in the world. Things like banzio. I'd never heard of banzio 2 months ago. I have actually eaten my body weight in banzio since I've been in Vietnam. Oh, look, I'm going to say this incorrectly. Pho. When I say it, the Vietnamese people laugh at me. But pho. I mean, it is beautiful. It is comfort food in a bowl. Ban Khan. I could just go on and on. Please take advantage of these wonderful foods. Get the most out of Vietnam. And while you're at it, don't go to Starbucks. Don't go to Starbucks. Go to the local coffee shops and have some wonderful Vietnamese coffees. I think they're the best in the world.
I think they are. Yes.
I think they are amazing. Among our favourites are salt coffee and coconut coffee.
Yes.
Oh, they're delicious. We drink far too many of them. But, So don't be afraid of the food. Don't just eat Western food. Look, there are some really good options, particularly in the bigger towns and cities for Western food. And, occasionally you will feel like a break. But Vietnamese food is affordable, it's delicious, and you're in Vietnam.
Mistake number 4, carrying cash. In Vietnam, cash is king. You're going to find that a lot of the little street stalls you go to, small hotels, they'll only deal in cash. Look, credit card's fine here as well, especially in the bigger cities. You'll go to your convenience stores or restaurants and all that, and bigger hotels, and they're all credit card friendly, but it's wise to carry cash.
Yeah, so you can get cash easily from the ATMs. So 3 million Vietnamese dong is about 180 Australian dollars.
Yeah. And that'll get you by for a few days.
And you can pretend you're a millionaire. Yeah.
I've never been so rich.
Just a little tip. Oftentimes when you book through something like bookings.com, it will have credit card not necessary. And I usually take that as a sign to me that this is a cash-only establishment, particularly if it's a smaller place. So just keep that in mind when you're doing bookings and make sure you've got enough money, because ATM machines on Friday afternoon can be a little bit tricky. And you must also be careful with your cash. You don't have to be ridiculously careful with your cash here in Vietnam. I have felt very, very safe.
No, it's
Yeah. But you just still need to be aware that you need to be sensible. Don't flash your cash.
Flash your millions.
Don't flash your millions and show everybody you're a millionaire. Be careful with your money, and just take out what you need. And always count your change. Just do all of the sensible things that you would normally do anywhere in the world, including your hometown. Our 5th potential mistake that you could be making in Vietnam is not learning some basic Vietnamese phrases. It's just manners, actually, to come to another country and be able to say a few words. We travel so much, we can't learn a language. We just can't. But what we always make sure that we learn is to say hello and goodbye and thank you. So listen to my fluent Vietnamese speaking husband here say hello in Vietnamese.
Xin chào.
I think it might be Xin chào. Yeah. And this is my favourite. How do you say thank you?
Come on. I sound like Leighton Hewitt.
He sounds like he's rousing on everybody. I think it's pronounced Cameroon. Anyway, whatever we say, the Vietnamese people fall around laughing at us, but it's meant kindly and they really do appreciate the effort. Now, goodbye is easy. Bye-bye. That works a treat. And the other things that we have learned to say is 1 and 2, mot,
Hey.
hi, and cafe. So you can walk into a cafe with confidence and say, Xin chào, hi, cafe. Come on. I've actually ordered 2
You're so
coffees.
fluent.
Thank you.
Okay, number 6, not having a flexible itinerary.
Now this suits us down to the ground because we have very flexible itineraries, mostly because we only book a week in advance for anything. So originally our plan was to go to the north of Vietnam when we had finished in this central part and to go and see Sapa, Halong Bay, Ninh Bình and Hanoi. So right now our plans have changed, thank you Typhoon Yagi, because 3 of those 4 places are suffering from the after effects of the typhoon. It's devastation for people, their homes, their businesses, and our travel plans fade into insignificance compared to what these people are going through. So because we can't do those things, we've had to pivot and we're going to head off to Thailand earlier than we thought we would. But if we had hung our hats off doing those plans, we would be we would be in a world of pain right now. So be prepared to be flexible. I would suggest that when you get here, there's no real need to book months and months in advance. There seems to be plenty of activities. People tend to be fairly casual about booking tours and things like that. So in the event of, a natural disaster or an extreme weather event, just prepare to be flexible.
Mistake number 7, underestimating the size of Vietnam. Now, from north to south, it is 1,650 kilometres. And to travel these smaller distances sometimes takes a lot longer than what you think.
Yeah, there's a lot of traffic. There's really good infrastructure around here. The roads are good. The train system's really good. There's an excellent bus system, but journeys take time. Have you heard of the infamous sleeper buses? We've travelled a couple of sleeper buses. look, we're not teenagers. We don't need to save money to that extent when we travel. So when we use the sleeper buses, we just travel through the day. I'm sleeping in a nice comfortable bed, not on a bus.
Yes.
But I highly recommend them. They're excellent. People are wonderful on them. They're so kind to us. Yeah, sleeper buses I highly recommend. But they can take a long time.
Yeah, traffic mainly, isn't it?
Yeah. Just to give you an indication of how long these journeys are, it can take 13 hours to come from Hanoi to Da Nang by a train. So that's from the north to the middle. And then it can take up to 17 hours to go from Da Nang to Ho Chi Minh City in the south. So that's a really long journey. So whether you take it by bus or private transfer or train, just be prepared to know that you're putting in some big time commitment into those travels. But fun fact, there are a ton of airports in Vietnam. 45 to be precise. That's a lot of airports for a smallish sized country.
Hence why we're flying to Hanoi.
Yeah, we're going to fly to Hanoi. We're not doing 13 hours on a train. So mistake number 8 is assuming that all taxis are legitimate. Now, there are good and legitimate taxi companies here in Vietnam. You need to do your own research on which of those are legitimate and any pitfalls attached to those, because there is a problem with people using bogus signage and things like that, trying to imitate legitimate companies. And anyway, that was all too much for me. So we just decided we'd stick with our good old Grab app that we've used successfully and effectively all over Southeast Asia.
So you're going to pull up at a railway station or an airport. They're going to come at you with their Grab app open, flashing it out. Looks real, looks legitimate. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Just do it on your own phone. Set your Grab app, put your destination in, wait for them to reply on your phone, not theirs.
I had read online that you needed a Vietnamese phone number to be successfully able to use Grab in Vietnam. That is not correct. Our Australian phone numbers work just fine attached to that app. We like to use Grab because someone knows where we are. We know what vehicle we're getting into. We know exactly how much it's going to cost. We know that we're actually going to our destination because there is no language barrier. And we just love Grab. We find it safe, effective. The bill goes immediately to our credit card, so that's money we don't need to be paying out in cash. For us, there is no other option. And you know what? Grab is great. You can get groceries, you can get meal deliveries, you just get the Grab
and
app.
Quick.
I think there's one called Bee that I've seen around here a lot as well. They seem to do a little bit of that. And also Bolt here in Vietnam. So you choose which ones you like. We like Grab.
Number 9, not accounting for your visa requirements. Now, as we understand, there is no visa on arrival here in Vietnam.
So this year, the visa was converted to an electronic visa for a 3-month duration. You could either get a single entry or a multiple entry. You just pay different price points to get that particular visa. You need to check how you can enter Vietnam under what visa by doing your own research. We use Visa Sherpa or Sherpa Visa, and we just put in that we're Australian, we're flying from wherever we happen to be to Vietnam, and then it brings up what we need to have. And it brought up that we needed to apply for a 3-month visa, so that's what we did. Now, we thought this would be an easy process, so this is a pro tip for you. It is actually an easy process if you don't do it on your iPhone.
Yes.
We do everything on our iPhones. We book Airbnbs, hotels, we book plane tickets, we do everything.
We were actually failing. I think we can't be that silly.
Yeah, well, we weren't actually that silly. We didn't feel it at the time. It was actually so bad that we were like, do we actually even want to go to Vietnam? And then some wise person on YouTube said, just try Chrome. Well, world of difference. So,
10 minutes.
Yeah, 10 minutes. But the thing about this is, even though it's an easy process, it can take some time to come through. So this isn't something I'd be like trying to do the day before I left. It says on the website that it can take 3 to 4 working days. I don't know when Vietnamese public holidays are.
No.
So if you just happen to hit a patch where there's a few public holidays, you could find yourself waiting up to a week or whatever. I'd easily give it a minimum of 2 weeks for applying. When it came through, we got an email saying that we had been successful, and then I printed it out because the advice I had received was that it needed it to be in a printed version. I saw a clip today of somebody sitting at the airport hoping that their Vietnamese visa would come through. Now, we're really poor at planning, but I would never, ever do that. But some people like to live on the edge. We thought we did, but not that much. Hey, just a quick aside, if you're getting value from this video, we'd be so grateful if you would like, subscribe, and maybe comment. We're a new channel, but we've been traveling the world for quite a while now, and we've just decided to start sharing our journey and our tips and tricks with you. Please feel free to comment below, letting us know your own experiences in Vietnam or any questions you would like answered.
Okay, number 10, not getting a local SIM card.
Yeah, we love an eSIM. We do. They're convenient. They're great. You pop them on your phone, you're in business. However, in Vietnam, most people we've seen with an eSIM have a lot of blackouts because the eSIM is attached to whatever particular phone company. So in our experience, our vast experience, we have found that Viettel and Mobiphone have been the best for us. I was able to get just a data-only card with Mobiphone, which suited me just great. Mark, on the other hand, got a Viettel.
It's been brilliant. Yeah.
It has. It's been brilliant. It has not failed anywhere. No matter where we've been able to use that Viettel card. We had to put passports across to be able to get them. And look, it took a little while because, the wheels of time move at a different pace here in Vietnam, but they were wonderful. They set it up. They made sure it was working properly before we left the store. And that doesn't always happen when you buy a local SIM around the world. So thanks for that, Viettel. As promised, the big bonus we've been teasing you with all through this video. Now, this is a biggie and it will impact your safety.
Yes, this one here involves your international driver's permit.
So the big mistake is assuming that your international driver's permit works here in Vietnam. So we're Australian and we have discovered that ours does not. And this has thrown a lot of our plans for Vietnam into disarray.
There goes that little scooter we're going to get and ride around, venture out.
Yeah, so that's the importance of being able to pivot and have flexible plans, as in one of our other pointers. So in our investigations, we discovered that Vietnam is not actually listed on our international driver's permit. So that means we can't legally ride or drive anything here in Vietnam, despite having the international driver's permit that works in most other places in the world that we've been. So if you have one, just check that Vietnam is listed. Now, you do what you want to do, but for us, it's important that we be safe and that we act legally in another country. It's important to follow another country's laws. So as far as we are concerned, we're not allowed to ride a motorbike of any description here. So where this impacts us is in regards to our insurance. Now, our insurance requires that we act legally within the laws of another country. And if Vietnam is not recognising our legality of driving and we are injured, then we're not covered by our insurance. Now, I don't know about you, but I am not keen to push that any further. I'm just going with the fact that we can't drive legally here in Vietnam. Now, I know this does apply to Australians, and I believe it applies to other countries like the USA, England, Canada and New Zealand. So have a look at the conditions around your international driver's permit and then make your own decisions. Do not be guided by what the motorbike companies tell you. They're after making a rental. It's up to you to take personal responsibility for what you do. So if you choose to ride a motorbike illegally in Vietnam, that's up to you. We're not your parents. We're not going to tell you what to do, but just be aware, because honestly, I don't think people are aware. I think that's just the issue.
If you're going out for dinner and you are riding a motorbike or driving a car, the alcohol limit in Vietnam is 0. So don't take the chance.
Yeah, get that Grab. Grab is great.
Yeah, get the Grab.
Grab is sponsoring this,
Yes,
doesn't
it does.
But they're not.
I should have a Grab shirt on.
Yeah, but you can't ride the motorbike.
No.
There you go. Now you know, and we hope that you're now more confident and have more idea of what you'll be having to take into account when you plan your trip to Vietnam, or even when you're here. Honestly, Vietnam is such a great fun place to be. I hope you enjoy it as much as we have.